Welcome to the Author Studio at BookExpo America 2013 in New York City. We're sitting right now with author Dorie Clark, who's written a book called Reinventing You.
Yes, thank you, Les.
Welcome, Dorie. Welcome. First book?
It is my first book, yes. It's Reinventing You.
How'd you like the process?
The process was great. I actually used to be a journalist, and that's the genesis of how I came to write my book, was that, like many journalists, about 10 years ago, when the internet started eating the lunch of the journalism industry, I got laid off. And I had to come up with a new career path for myself. So over the past decade, I've been a presidential campaign spokesperson, a nonprofit executive director, documentary filmmaker, and a marketing consultant. And so I wrote Reinventing You to help other people in their career transitions.
I'm guessing as you went through this, you found a lot of other people in your situation, and that's where you saw the need to write a book, yes?
Absolutely. These days, almost everyone needs to reinvent themselves, whether they're looking to change careers or just to move up the ladder and they want to reposition themselves and make sure that people in their office and in their industry really understand what they're capable of.
You know, technology is changing so rapidly, and it changes the workplace so rapidly. So really everybody needs to reinvent themselves periodically, not just once, not just twice, but as technology changes, we need to change along with it, don't we?
Absolutely. If you're a marketing professional and you're trying to do the same things that you did 10 years ago, you're nowhere. Social media has changed everything, and because of technology, because of globalization, we need to keep moving just to keep up. And there's a lot of opportunity in that as well.
When you wrote the book, the process of writing the book, you had to reinvent yourself. I'm a journalist as well. Sports. So I use the term journalist loosely, all right? But I found I had to understand social media. I found that if I wanted to write a book or a blog, it's different from writing for television. It's different from writing for radio.
Yes.
Did you find the same thing as a former journalist? Writing a book, you had to change your style of writing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because whereas you can write a blog post in maybe an hour or so, you really need to have longer blocks of time when you're writing a book. I think for me, because you really wanted to make sure that you have the narrative arc in mind of what you've written before and where you're going in the entirety of this 200 or 250 page document. So I would typically block out an entire afternoon, and during my most intense writing period, 3 or 4 days a week, I would be spending entire afternoons just really concentrating on this so that I could get in the flow and stay there.
When you talk about reinventing yourself, does it mean changing your personality, changing your skills, a little bit of both? What?
I think when I speak about reinventing you, really what we're talking about is making sure that other people perceive you the way that you want to be perceived. And sometimes that means that you want to make changes in yourself. So if you want to have a different career or learn to do things in a different way, you may want to get training or have new skills. But the problem is, in an era where people have 1,000 Facebook friends, most people aren't paying that close attention to you. And so a lot of their perceptions may be several years out of date. And so what I talk about in Reinventing You is, number one, how you can gain those new skills to be the person you want to be, but number two, and perhaps most importantly, to make sure other people really understand and appreciate that so that you can be recognized for the expert that you are.
How much of this has to do with finding your passion, chasing that dream, that passion?
I think it's essential to feel passionate about what you're doing. That being said, not all passions are created equal. And so if you love knitting tea cozies or something like that, you may be able to make a wonderful business out of it, but not everybody can. Right. So I think ideally what you want is the intersection of your passion and what the world wants. And that's important. But I would say that for anyone, it is a really worthwhile and valuable goal. If you're spending, half your life working and doing something, you want it to be something that you're excited about.
Have you gotten any of those great communications from readers who have said, hey, Dorie, your book was a life changer for me?
Well, I have. I've been very fortunate. I've gotten a lot of great mail back from people who have found it helpful. And in fact, just yesterday here at BEA, I met a woman and she said, I'm so excited. This is going to be so valuable. I can't wait to share this with the people I work with. They really need to reinvent themselves. And I said, well, where do you work? And she said, I work with felons.
Yeah,
so whether you're a felon or not, hopefully everyone needs to reinvent themselves.
They probably need it a little more than most.
They probably do.
Your first time at BookExpo America?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What do you think?
It's just an overwhelming amount of books and literature and authors, people who love books. It's a great place to be.
And is your book being received well?
Yes, I feel very fortunate. In fact, just yesterday there was someone who came by the booth and said that they were reading this Reinventing You in their book group at work, which I think is fantastic. You have a lot of people really thinking together about ways to raise the bar on their professional performance.
Got another book in you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah? An extension of this or something different?
I think that I'm hopefully for the next book going to continue on the path of helping people with their reinventions, with being recognized as thought leaders and moving forward in their field. But first, I'm going to work on making sure that we get the message out as strongly as we can about this one.
Yeah, because as we talked before, things change so rapidly in today's world. You might have to reinvent yourself 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So here's the title of your book, Reinventing You. How about that?
I love it.
All right.
Free
Do I get
consulting.
some residuals
Thank
on that
you,
one?
Les.
No problem. Dorie Clark, the book is called
you.
Reinventing You.